It's always a thrill to come out here after a belly dancer. I don't know whether to flip up and down my zipper. I'm going to talk a little bit about the failing aviator. That's just kind of a big, broad briefing, and it originally started out for crew members, but it has a lot to do with us in this business, whether we're crew members or not. It was done originally and was talked about originally by a guy by the name of Frank Dully, who's a flight surgeon for the Navy. And Frank and I worked together on this. My background is in psychology, and I spent a lot of years living with you clowns and figuring out what's kind of making you tick. And the reason why I studied this, by the way, is because I was kind of a failing aviator. I came back from Vietnam and had some problems with that. And anytime you have problems with yourself, what you do is normally study about them, because you don't go see the nut doctors and all those other people. And I ended up getting my degrees in psychology so that I could learn why I was all squirrely. And after doing that, what I did then was turn around and listen to y'all and put it in a little format briefing. And this is a stereotype briefing, and I'm saying y'all fit inside this, and that's not true. Some of you do, some of you don't. Some of you fit in a little bit, and some of you don't. The idea behind this briefing is to get you to think a little bit, to get you a little bit aware of who you are and what causes accidents in this business, okay? And so with that as a, by the way, there's one other thing. If I say anything that sounds crude, I do not say it for the sake of crudeness. I will say it because the same way that you would tell me if I was doing the research paper with you or research work with you, if I asked you a question, you would come across a certain way. Aviators have a certain way of speaking. And so with that as the background, let me go ahead and start. Yeah. There are 4 things that you must have in your personality in order to do this kind of business. Those 4 types of parts of your personality. Number 1, you must be in control. Number 2, the male-female interface is characterized by distance, and that's an emotional distance. Number 3, you're a mission-oriented compartmentalizer. And number 4, you're extremely predictable. Those 4 things are in your makeup if you're pretty good in this business. Now, that's just kind of an overview, so let me talk about each one individually. Number 1, in control. Measured input gives measured response. I move yoke to right, airplane turns right. I turn on a little knob and a little radar thing goes whipping around, okay? Stimulus response kind of thing. Well, if it's so good in the flying business and any other businesses we're in, then why couldn't it be good also at home? It is. You use it. You try to be in control of your children, your family, your wife. You try to be in control of just about everything that you come in contact with. And if you can't be in control of that, then you will exit stage left. Let's say that tonight the wife says to you, or the husband says to you, hey, we're going downtown tonight, hon. We're going to go to a little convention there I want to go to. And you say, oh, sure, you know, we'll go. So you go down and you find out it's a gynecological convention, and they're all talking about things that you really don't know that much about. And they're talking in doctorese. About 7:15, y'all will be yawning. It's awful late, hon. I think it's time to go home here. Because, see, you can't sit there and talk about the things you like to talk about and control that. And so you will find a way to exit stage left on that. Usually you're the oldest son or the oldest daughter. And if you're not the oldest son or daughter, then you were the controlling son or daughter in that family when you were growing up. And you lived under the auspices of the old man. And the old man, for most of us, was a little strange and different. He didn't say some things to us when he needed to. He didn't tell us that he loved us after we got to a certain age group. We got to be about 13 years of age. That seemed to be about the turning point. He stopped giving out a lot of that warm, lovey affection thing that he normally did beforehand, and he started using symbols of affection. Well, I'd love to take this gentleman up here in the front. Let's say that at 16, he went out and he cut the grass, and he did a real fine job of it. He came back in, expected the old man to pat him on the back, tell him he was a good son. What did the old man say? Nice job, son. Why don't you take the car out tonight and get a little bit? See, that's the way he handled that. That's the way he told him that he cared. And so you and I spend a lot of our time looking for symbols of affection from people around us, from our jobs, etc., etc. And what better way than the kind of rank that we wear on our shoulders? That's kind of a control thing, and shows a little bit about the affection of our job for us. It gives us some more rank. How about the kind of wings that we wear? That shows we've been in control. We have some affection from the people around us. Especially if we got a star on top of there and a commode post on top of that. You know, well, we've really been around for a long time, you know. And how about those medals? Now, how many of y'all wear your medals on a day-to-day basis? I look out here and I see one. How come the rest of you clowns don't wear them? Then bring them. Well, why didn't you bring them? Then bring your blue uniform. You can wear them with that. You know why you guys don't wear those? They're symbols of affection, but you know that everybody else in this unit, in here, in this room, has about the same amount as you got. Everybody gets them. You've been in the service 10 years, you got about 2 rows, 2.5 rows. Been in about 15 years, 3-4 rows. Over 15 years, maybe 5 rows. Everybody, we give them out with water, like water. You want a couple of these? You've been around with one and take 2 of these, all right? And so we don't wear them because we all know what they're worth. But I guarantee you one thing, folks. If you ever have to go downtown in your Class A uniform, that's who you are right there. Those clowns downtown don't know, okay? Hey, look at who I am, boy. That's me. It's that symbols of affection. Somebody says, what's that one on top? Says, beats the hell on me, but ain't it pretty? Paid 18 cents for it to BX. Love it, okay? Those are symbols of affection, and we reach out for those things to make us feel important about who we are. Most of you as aviators, and non-aviators in here, most of you are safety wired in the pissed off position. How you doing today? Fine, thank you. Everything's just great. No problems whatsoever. You ever notice in your own squadrons and groups and units, everybody's always fine? Everybody's always walking around like this? What a bunch of bullshit. Is that the way life is? Is that the way you feel? No, that's just the way we present ourselves, okay? And we always walk around being fine, and all of a sudden something will happen to us, and we'll really get cranked up, and you get cranked up very easily. Auger into the ceiling, we get you back down, we say, how you doing? Fine, thank you, everything's all right, you know? You get over it fairly quickly once you get into it, once you get to thinking about it a little bit. But most of you are safety wired in a pissed off position. As controllers, you groove on other controllers. The people that are around you, you like to have as controllers. Now, why would you like to have other people around you as controllers? Because they're like you, okay? If you ever get in a situation with this friend or person, then you can know how this other person will react to that situation. In a way, they're kind of a spitting image of you. Now, you might only have, some of you say, well, I got 15 friends. For most of you in here, you have maybe 1, maybe 2, and at max 3 very close friends. People that know you directly, something about you inside. Most of you, it's 1 or 2, because it takes a lot of energy to divest into the other person. Most other people know the fake you. Only 1 or 2 know the real you, okay? And for sure, those 1 or 2 very, very close people will be controlling people exactly like you. And probably they'll be in the same business that you're in, okay? You like controllers so much, you marry them. Most of you are married to either first daughters and or controlling daughters, and for the gals in here, first sons or controlling sons. And we have likes of track at that period of time. Why would you marry someone like that? Why would you marry someone who's strong-willed when you're trying to control her?
That's a good question.
Yeah, it is. The reason being is this. The reason is this. You don't want to take your wife out in front in public and say, look at my wimp wife. You're a strong lady. Shut up, bitch. Okay? You want somebody with strength around you. You want to show your own masculinity through her. That's why.
You wouldn't have somebody go out there and say, look at your wimp husband.
Yeah, that's true, yeah. We marry strong people. And one of the things we'll tell you that if you are married to a very strong person, you must have a written or unwritten rule between the 2 of you. That when one speaks in anger, the other one keeps their daggum mouth shut, period. Don't try to control the situation. Try to listen to what the other person's saying. If you do not, you'll be married singles within 5 years. You might be living together, folks. But you'll be talking about weather, TV, food, but you ain't gonna be talking about what's in your gut, because the 2 of you are going to be fighting over that, and you won't be able to talk to each other about it. By the way, if you've been in this business and you're over 40 years of age, you have around a 47% chance of being divorced. And if you don't think that doesn't cause a lot of problems in this business, you better take a look at it, because it does.